So, big banks in Belgium and then in London. How did you first hear about search funds?
My idea was to do a sabbatical and bank. I wanted to travel around the world, and so I left Goldman, and great place, probably the best place I ever worked. And so, they said, like, why don't you go traveling and then come back to Goldman? That was the idea. And while I was traveling, I had a place in Barcelona. I used it as a base. The dean of the business school actually said, like, what would you be interested in teaching here? And I'm like, well, maybe at the end of my sabbatical. So that's what I did. I thought. And then I got to know a guy called Rob Johnson, which I'm sure you know him. And so Rob was also teaching at the EST, and we became close friends, and we had a couple of, passions in common. And one passion in common was investing. And I knew a lot about hedge funds and hedge fund strategies, and he kept on coming back to search funds, and he's a very patient man, far much patient than I am. And he said, like, one day he said, like, listen, I've told you 4 or 5 times, you really need to look at that. And so that's how I got into it. And I think a lot of people in Europe, that's how we got into search funds. We talked to Rob, and Rob showed us the way. And that's how I got to know it. I got to know more and more people from the community.